Simon, what's going on, dude?
Like, yeah, was super happy to talk today with you and like to have this kind of dialogues about those topics, which I find really fascinating. And I always love what comes out when like two dudes who are on the same journey talk about stuff. And then I think it will also help to put things better into words and maybe grasp some things new and just exchange about the experiences.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Maybe you should just introduce yourself, Simon. Introduce yourself a little bit. Maybe I can talk about what I'm doing here in Portsmouth and get
Hmm.
everybody on the same page if they don't know who we are, and then we can talk about what we're going to get into today.
Yeah. Yeah, my name is Simon. I'm a 30-year-old guy from southern Bavaria, born and raised in the mountains and living in the mountains my whole life. And I found my way to this whole movement meaning bubble through, yeah, I had a bad back injury a lot of years ago, and then I had to find ways to befriend my body again. And that led to yeah, what is to the big question, kind of like how can you live a good, meaningful life? And over that, many connections grew, and also we both met, kind of like in the same bubble. And now I'm really fascinated these days about like those ecosystem of practices approach, because there's nothing that clicked so much for me before. But maybe we get to this in a minute. Maybe you tell everybody who you are and how you got to this thing.
Yeah, yeah. I relate a lot to your story of dealing with injuries, us pushing our bodies hard in different ways, and then finding a more how would you put it? Maybe a more wholesome version of movement or something that like opens our mind to the possibilities of it rather than just being so running our heads into a brick wall, you know. Um, but yeah, my name is Nick. I'm from Portsmouth, Ohio. 30 years old. I do freelance art and graphic design for a living. And more and more, movement has always been an interest to me, or exercise. I was really heavy into CrossFit. I was a college soccer player. Um, but the more I started to explore different exercise programs, even or whatever, I just went further and further down the how people move rabbit hole or training rabbit hole. And I bumped into the evolve, move, play people just online, probably through Instagram, or maybe Rafe had talked to Peterson. And I was like,
Mhm.
I always felt like I always loved pushing myself hard and training hard, but I, w- I it always kind of felt one dimensional. Like, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. But the play people, the evolving play people, they had something that was just like a quality to their exercise and a quality to their movement that there's just so many more dimensions to it, and it was so much like it was lighter in a good way. Uh, so yeah, I did the year-long apprenticeship with Rafe Kelly, and that really changed how I thought about how we move and even how we're supposed to be in the world and how we can relate to people. Then I started doing jujitsu maybe 3 years ago. Actually, almost 3 years ago to the day. It'll be this month on December 20th. And that really changed how I relate to people. So um I'm definitely an artist who moves. So I like that I like the interplay of the two things. I need to hide away sometimes in pain. I got a few more set up here. But in terms of like connecting with people and things, the movement and even just something as simple as touch or grappling or things like that, it just has opened me so much to what how we're supposed to be in the world. So little bit
Mhm.
about me. It's Simon, you reached out to me and you were like talking about maybe the main question you brought up was how do you know our ecology of practices is working? I don't know if that's the main topic you want to verge into first, or where do you plan?
Like I got it prepared like a little structure.
Sweet,
If you fancy
sweet.
me sharing it, like I
I'm
would
happy to.
I I think in the beginning it's really nice to talk about to bring everybody on the same page. Like maybe shortly, why do we even need an ecosystem instead of like just isolated tools? And then I would find it fascinating to talk about like how do the bleed over? Like how do you like transfer insights and habits and states you learn in a practice? How do you transfer this to other life parts?
Mm.
And then how to recognize a healthy ecosystem of practices. Because there you have been like writing a newsletter a few months ago where I answered and then you answered something too about, and we were both like, ah, yeah, our ecosystem of practices, I think it's working at the moment. And
Yeah.
I think that's like a really good indicator because I think the same for you and me, probably in the beginning when we came across those concepts of like Viveki and Rev Kelly. For me, I didn't had like a proof or so like how it or I didn't knew how it will feel like if those
Mhm.
start to grow and work. There was just like this something resonated and there was a trust like okay, this is the right thing to do now. But like now just like months or years later, I really can feel massive shifts and like developments happening.
That's so exciting. What's the most obvious ways that you're seeing that right now? If that starts us off on the right question, Simon.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
curious.
my yeah. Um, I would point out like two or three things. Like first, like my life became so much more magical. What I mean with that, like that it is filled with awe. Like the sense of awe is like really it's crazy. Like we both are now talking like we are across big ocean and we
Uh-huh.
can talk in real time, see each other. And all that is possible because we got like some stones with runes on it, kind of like those microchips, right? And like
Yeah.
there are those small things that we can talk through that. And like you look at everything, I look at the world and I just wonder.
Mm.
Like that is a really big thing. And the other thing is that it feels like I'm living in a really thick net of connections. Like life somehow got thicker. Like I'm much more involved in different settings, where it's also sometimes difficult to not get like blown away by like all the connections and also to keep boundaries and say no to stuff. But like I feel like the net I'm living in is a lot thicker.
Mm. Mm.
How
And
about you?
those are two really good ones. Just feeling a sense of awe about things and the net of connections feeling like it's growing. No, I can definitely relate. I would say and even the very first thing you said about encountering Vervaeke's work and understanding, okay, there is this like flywheel we can make with these different spokes in the wheel of different practices, and maybe if we put them together in the right way, it'll be like a garden. It'll be like we have the right materials and they're working cooperation together. And that concept alone changed my like I could feel in myself. I'd said earlier, if you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. There's a certain one dimensionality to, all right, if I want the life I want, then I gotta like I've got to force it in some way. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's on me. It's totally on me. And the flywheel analogy, or thinking of things as an ecosystem or a garden, really like uh helped. Not only did it help relieve me,
Mhm.
this is the weirdest way to put it, but it like I felt so relieved in one way, and secondly, I could see that my what I wanted to achieve with the right people in the right setting, my powers could be multiplied.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it's so weird. It's like you can literally work. It almost sounds one part of me, my past self doesn't like this explanation of it, but you can almost work easier to get more.
Mhm.
Do you know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
just because um you're working with these force multipliers. Anyway, uh when I first started my morning jujitsu class, or when I was training in other ways that were more like fitness based, I always felt like, well, I don't know, we can achieve a lot by working this way, or just by steadily chipping away at these workouts and things like, but it always seemed like there was a sort of diminishing return or something, or we could only go so far with it in workouts. But like at the grappling gym I'm at right now, when it started to affect other parts of life, or when people of many different backgrounds started to learn to grappling together, or people learn different aspects of fighting, or we're talking about yoga stuff or ground flow, or people are climbing trees at my gym. These kids were copying what I was when I started doing it, they were copying different things. Our kids class started growing. Um, People started hanging out outside the gym. One guy got married. One guy got married at our gym, and we closed the gym for the day, and everybody went to the wedding. Like there were things like that happening that it's things are happening off the mat. People
Hmm.
care about each other outside of this. And
Hmm.
that's when I started to feel like something really generative was happening. It was
Hmm.
maybe we're getting into the bleed part prematurely, but uh, it started to feel like something was greater than the sum of its parts, and
Hmm.
that we were training for life. Like that's always the cliche that, oh, if if you train in a certain way, then life is going to be easy, or if you work on something hard in the morning, life is going to be easier afterwards. But it wasn't that correlation directly. Like that's not how I describe it. It would be more like, um, this sort of training is for a better life.
Hmm.
But I mean, this sort of training, the way we're doing it and the social aspect of it, it just makes us all happier, you know? Um, so yeah, that's just what has been on my mind recently. There just seems to be more and more of that. Yesterday, after the evening jujitsu class, I had shown like some positions from the figure four grip and different arm locks. And what was most interesting to me is that after class had ended and people rolled for a minute, everyone stayed around for 30 minutes to an hour just talking, just talking. What do you need help with? Where are you stuck? Uh, People on their own terms were trying to answer questions that they needed answered. And I don't know that that's I know that this of course people come with questions to the teachers and things at different gyms, but I don't know if it's as open as ours is. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Not to just get tribalistic about it, but I think it's what I'm pointing out is I think it's a unique thing for people to be self-learners and organizing themselves in that way. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I hope that spurs something for you, Simon. What is that? What comes to mind as I'm just talking about some of these things?
Yeah, I can really relate to the point you said, like that it becomes something bigger than you, or like it at some points it feels like I'm a proud father, like when like things start to grow, or like I'm a proud gardener, like I have like done the work, but like I have no influence about what kind of the plants grow or how they will
Right.
look like. And it takes forms and like colors I couldn't have imagined.
Yeah.
And like, um, yeah, this were, and the other point that stuck for me was like this. Yeah, we are always searching, I think, for this optimal space, like the optimal grip on reality. Like,
Yeah.
and there's like this floating without not grabbing anything, like those to be a bit cliche, like those free floating hippies, like kind of like they're a bit like they have too little grounding. And on the other side, like there are sometimes those people who are like too stuck and
Yeah.
like too rigid and not flexible enough.
Hmm.
And somewhere in between, like is life feels like a smoothie. I got this phrase for me, like life feels like a movie where there's like enough grounding and enough texture to push yourself off and to move through, but like you also got gravity there. Like it's not just for pure hedonism or pleasure, which
Yeah,
kind of sometimes also gets like, yeah, uh, communicated like publicly that you do your training for your self-care and all this kind of stuff. But it's actually, I'm really interested in how can we train so that also others benefit, not just ourselves, but like I think this focus so much on ourselves, like this whole self-care thing, blah blah. And I'm really happy to see that changing slowly. But this is like making people nuts because then your training becomes really meaningless if you just do it for yourself.
right, right. No, well, I'm really curious your thoughts on that. What comes to mind immediately for me is you ever listen to Akira the Dawn?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Akira, I did a music video with him once. I drew some stuff for him. He's a very cool dude. Uh, and well, I follow his music just because I'm really interested in him making his own genre, basically. And he had this song recently come out on the Buddha.
Hmm.
And it's with Naval Rathkiel or something like that. I forget his name. He's a tech guy.
Oh. Yeah, yeah.
The name of the song is "Me as a Disease," and the lyrics go something like, uh, let's see, obsession with the self is like the path to misery, basically. Uh,
Hmm.
the people that are the happiest always have some. They're either doing it for God or they're doing it for the people in their group or their cause or whatever it is. And yeah, the refrain of "me is a disease" that's like empowering to me. I don't know. I one time I heard Jordan Peterson say like even if you're in a social situation and you would tend to feel awkward, if you just focus on um if you just focus on making somebody else feel comfortable. Like if you see someone else maybe feeling awkward or something, they just kind of look to themselves. Hey man, what's going on? What have you been into? Why are you here? What do you do? And that immediately takes your mind off of the inward focus and it pushes it outward, you know? Um, how do you think in your training that have you seen a shift from, you know, okay, what can I this is so important for me to get connected and this makes my life more meaningful to how you're affecting other people's life and making it more meaningful? Simon, what kind of shift have you seen in that way since you bring it up?
Hmm. Mm. Yeah, ma many shifts. Like I would like to point out or like tell you about two of them. Like one
Okay.
of them is like training or like how I think how we see training is always also a reflection of our history and like what kind of relevance our training had maybe in the past. And in the past, for example, my training with the back injury and other injuries was really important to kind of get myself back on track. Like there was not so much capacity also to care about others so much.
Yeah,
And then it was really like for me it helped me a lot back then to really lock in and kind of go into monk training mode and like really figure out what was not going well in my body and how I can deal with that.
of course.
And then I realized, but like, okay, that was serving me in the past, but it's not serving me today. Because
Mm,
like there's also like a pitfall of becoming too rigid.
yeah,
And there I realized like some really positive shifts of like when life or like when people in my community need my help, I'd rather skip a training session, which still feels really hard for me because it's like I'm so used to it and I feel like I need it and I want it. But
yeah.
like for example, last week a good friend and mentor of mine asked me if I could like help him move things in his house in Italy for 2 days. And I was like, first moment, like, ah, shit, like I'm gonna skip 2 or 3 trainings and like, it's gonna be really exhausting. But then I was like, yeah, but fuck it. Like, what is it I'm really training for? Like,
Right, yeah.
if it's not for like helping. a friend
Yeah.
in need,
Yeah.
what am I training for? Then I can just forget it at all. And then I was super happy to do this. So I become less rigid about it.
Yeah.
And also like, how can I, hmm, yeah, and it has also shifted because I'm probably strong enough for everything I need to do in my life. So other things become more interesting.
Oh man, that's a perfect way to put it. Yeah, have you noticed like that, for instance, tell me if you noticed, Simon, like I feel like the training we do a little bit earlier in life and building that capacity, that even if you're not training as rigorously, a lot of that sticks around.
Mhm.
Have you noticed that? Yeah, so
I
it's
have,
like
yeah.
it's almost like you front load, you do some of the front work, and then you can use your skills to power up other people, you know?
Yeah, and kind of low. I feel like the capacity is kind of like the clay. Like you put up a lot of clay and then you can sculpt it.
Yeah,
Like then
yeah,
you can sculpt it and use it. And I love the capacity I have, and I want to increase building it. Like I think I'm 30, definitely want to increase it, but like
of course.
it sticks around. I haven't done a single strength training session in the summer, like because gym was closed and I had a lot of work and a lot of workshops and a lot of being on the road, different places. Haven't touched like a barbell for 5 months.
Uh-huh.
Came back to the gym, eased into it, like minimal strength loss, but like
Yeah,
n nowhere too extreme. And like it's okay, you can just continue. And I do strength training once a week, and I'm doing like good gains with that.
that's awesome, man. Yeah. No, I've noticed similar things. Um, yeah, made a post the other day, just a quick post about with some clips of different of doing a little bit of lifting, doing some sled pulling, doing just kind of different movement drills for wrestling, some clips of us at the gym. But I have noticed like I feel more like at ease with my training than ever. I too want to build capacity. I'm interested in what we can do, what we can build ourselves to be. But I'm not like anxious about it. You know that feeling initially of like I'm not going to get enough. I gotta, you're working out 3 times a day. I mean, I was pretty obsessive about it, and now I feel like I'm relaxed enough that I'm not worried about. I used to be worried about like, oh, if I go work out with my buddy, then he's gonna slow me down. Like that's how I used to think. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Now it's like
Yeah.
now it's like the ecology is like rich enough that when I go to it could be the grappling gym or we're just with my buddies, we'll go run or something. They're telling me about what they're learning that I don't know. I'm like, oh, wow, you've been doing your research. I'd never thought about that before. That now even people that started further behind me because of the way I guess the freedom and just the energy behind the gym and stuff, they're starting to add to the group game. And that's my favorite thing to see because it becomes so interesting and fun, you
And
know?
I think you pointed out two beautiful things here, and like what I think are really good indicators of like when how do you notice that a system of practices is working? First, you mentioned like less anxiety and more at ease with the training.
Okay. Okay.
That's what you said, and
Mhm.
that I can really relate to too. And second, you said like that you like it becomes self-organizing and you get inspired, kind of like you give inputs into a group, but then like the group does its own thing with it and gives you
Right.
input back. So
Yeah.
it develops a life of its own.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also with the, I want to add on the with the
Please.
ease and the less anxiety, like because for me it also felt at times like training is this thing that I want to get done to become a certain way, to become bigger, stronger, more
Yeah.
muscular, more fit. But there was never this thought, but what then?
Yeah.
Like. because like, do you reach this point and then what? Then you're suddenly happy all life after, and life feels really meaningful when I get to 90 kilograms or so. No
Right.
problem. Or like, life will not change if I can like bench 100 kg, or like if I just bench 95. Like, probably not. And like, yeah, so then, okay, when I got this realization, it was like, okay, then I can play the long run, because if I want to rush to a goal, I it's not often not sustainable. So
Yeah.
like, I better skip a training. I try to see things more in a long-term perspective and not beat myself up when I miss a training and stuff, but like, I am a lot more gentle also with myself. That's also something I noticed.
Mm. In what way? Just what I was describing there with the anxiety about training and stuff.
hmm Like, in the yeah, past, I think there's like, anxiety is often mixed with like urgency,
Yeah,
when we
yeah,
feel like we need to get this done now, whereas like intuition is more connected with ease.
yeah, yeah. Um, and that probably has something to do with just like also stages of life and stuff. Not that we're not that we're some sages now, but
Old wise guys.
yeah, we got beards now. Couldn't grow this.
I mean,
No, I remember being even let's see. Oh man, 9 years ago. I mean, I
mhm,
like in terms of having a fire under my ass, bro. I was like, no one. I mean, in my mind, it's like no one can possibly be training harder than me. I need
mhm,
to be the best. I need, and I forget who had said this recently, but there's a stage really when you're around that age, 20, 25, something like that, where you kind of are just a little bit angry for whatever reason. You have that, you want to fight, in whatever form that is. You want to prove yourself and just even easing off that gas pedal a little bit, it feels so good on the other side of that. We probably need that fighting and building the capacity, like you said, building up the clay. But man, it's so cool to see just a tiny, just a little bit bigger of a picture at the other end of it, you know?
mhm, mhm, mhm. I like another, yeah. I would, yeah, I want to share another story, like,
Yeah.
after, about like how I'm more at ease with myself and more gentle with myself, and how I notice it, for example. Like, I don't push. I can like really hustle, and I can really give it fully, but more in a relaxed way. It's not so tense anymore like in the past. It's not like I have to do this. It's more like I want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, there's more like clarity and integrity behind it.
Mhm.
And it's also like, when things become clear, there's less to defend. Like, in the past, I've sometimes have preached to people and wanted to convince them of the way I'm training or the
Yeah.
style I'm training. I don't have that so much anymore. It's like, okay, and I know and I feel it's working. I don't need to convince you.
Uh-huh.
Like, if it resonates, then I got something for you, but I don't have to convince you.
Where do you think that confidence is just a natural result of like the the ecology of practices and like spending some time in the system like that? Or is there a particular thinker that has helped you come to that conclusion? How do you think you have that confidence now?
Mm. I love this quote from Chris Williamson, that like, confidence, like, you don't get by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by stacking an undeniable proof.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah,
and I think like over the years, I've proven to me enough
yeah,
that what I'm doing is working, and it is still, and I'm super curious each month and every year, like, how it will still develop. But like, that what I'm doing now at the moment is kind of working
yeah.
for whatever reasons. And then I'm interested in the reasons why it's working. Like, that confidence didn't came easy, but it came, and I also like really tried to facilitate it with like, um really for me, a big part was also celebrating my success, because like, normally when I when I succeed in something, there's maybe just this slight sense of relief, but like to also start celebrating stuff. Like, hey man, that's actually really cool what I did there, and like write those things down and celebrate it. That helped me.
Heck yeah, man. Um, yeah, the getting together undeniable proofs. Um, yeah, I think how would I put it? When I'd said that that my life metaphor changed when I speaking to your point about or speaking to the point about uh what was I saying? Oh shoot. I'm trying to hold too many threads together at once. Speaking to
That's
the point about your about confidence in that what you're doing is working. Uh like I always felt when I started to understand the flywheel and the ecology of practices things and just ecological dynamics, it wasn't a matter of like perfectly orchestrating, okay, first I'm going to do A and then B and then C and D. It was more like set
hmm
prepare the soil properly and like just make sure you're taking care of that soil or that ground you're standing on. And I think that's the ecological dynamics, right? Like when in order to get better at moving in grappling, like I just spent some time rolling around on the ground, like physically myself, like forward, backwards, side to side, rolling around in the grass, crawling, doing things that were like what's underneath of the thing that you want to achieve, and just seeing where it leads. Um, yeah, I feel like that gives I don't know, that achieves the result way better than me trying to perfectly orchestrate A, B, and C. You know what I
hmm
mean?
hmm hmm
Um,
I would be super interested how your ecosystem of practices changes your relationships. Like not just because I think there are internal parameters where we can like know if it's working or not,
uh-huh.
but like also interpersonal, how it affects our relationships.
This is a great question. Hey, our meeting's actually gonna end here in hold on, six
7 minutes.
minutes, 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So let me try to maybe we can take a crack at this question here and we'll do a part two also.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do
I
it
still
like
have
this.
some time afterwards, but we'll try to answer this question. Okay. So how does the my ecology of practices affect my relationships? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well, for one, with my wife, um, we started to see a lot. She's getting her yoga certification, and she doesn't do jujitsu with me regularly. Occasionally, we'll I think maybe like a month ago, she was like, "Hey Nick, we were at the gym. Hey Nick, you wanna roll?" I was like, "Really? You know, sure. This sounds great." So we rolled around a little bit, arm bars, things like that. But we just really started to notice a lot of correlations between the way different ways we're moving. And I would do yoga with her on Sunday mornings, and yeah, so much more to relate on. Like, you ever have a moment where it's not that the person says anything like revelatory to you to reveal themselves, but you see them doing something and you just see them in a different light.
Mm.
Uh, I think Vervaeke calls this sensibility transcendence, not to get too fancy with the terminology, but you see a different side of a person. You can suddenly a different side of a person is revealed when they maybe are doing something, or you see them in their element. Like when I say to the point when I saw Heather doing yoga, it wasn't clicking with me initially. I'm like, okay, yoga's a yoga. That's not so much my interest. But when I participated in that movement practice with her, it opened me to, oh, I get it. I get why you like this, specifically you. I can feel the positive effects of it. So it's helped me to, it's my ecology practices has helped me to relate to Heather more and see the things that she's into. And I don't think I would have got that if I wasn't grappling or wasn't
Mhm.
moving on the ground. Um, does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
What about you, Simon?
Mm, it involved, like for me, it changed regarding the relationships or the
Yeah.
interpersonal factors. It changed a lot how I see touch. Before I saw touch often like more just in either like aggressive settings or sexual settings.
Yep.
But I like to have this touch, like it's just a human thing.
Yeah.
Also like cuddling and touching and body work and grappling. Like in the grappling, it came pretty easy to me. Like I was since a child, it was easy for me to enjoy body contact and grappling, but like also like in other forms of body work, massaging, contact improvisation, since I'm a lot into dance. The
Yeah.
last years, it was kind of my main practice or is my main practice at the moment.
Oh my gosh. To that point, Simon, not that I'm ready to show you a bunch of moves, but dancing. Da
How amazing is that, right?
oh my God. I can't even begin to. Okay, Heather's a very good dancer. She was doing Zumba instruction in high school and things, and I don't know what would that be Latin dance?
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. But that was something totally foreign to me, totally inaccessible to me. Okay. You know, unfortunately in America at high school dances, no one teaches you anything. There's no group dance. But learning to move on the ground, doing stuff with evolving play, contact, improv, things like that. Suddenly, I had a wedding or something. It sounds silly. It sounds totally silly, but I'm like, oh, this is just moving. This is just
Ah,
moving in rhythm, and this is I feel more at ease with myself to try.
mhm.
Uh,
Another good indicator, I think. I think a really good indicator is also taking yourself less serious. Like
Holy hell, yeah,
or not like taking yourself more serious, but like not taking how you are perceived less serious. You know what I mean? Like it
yeah,
doesn't matter for me also like with the dancing how other people see it. It's more like, yeah, this is an important experience I want to have. And like it's more important than what other people might think. Which in the end, the funny thing is they wouldn't even think at all.
they
But
don't
like
care.
no. But like this, but you don't care that they maybe care. I think that's also a good indicator because then you feel like happy and confident in your body and you know what you want to do and you know the way there and you try to enjoy the way. Or like
Yeah,
there's something more important than the social cringe aspect,
yeah.
um, that makes it like life a lot easier. Like I was dancing contemporary for the last 1.5 years now, and then like this year, like this fall, I signed up for hip hop because I like the music, and I was like, it's maybe good to work on some rhythm and stuff. Man, I got there. I'm the only man in the class, 30 women. I dropped in late to the class because I was in holidays and working, so I like joined the fifth or sixth session of the semester. Smoked me totally. Like like the coordination and the rhythm and the moves, like no chance in the beginning, but it was still so fun. And it's like I just love the feeling of being a beginner there and like enjoy the music because I will never be like a profi dancer, so I can as well start enjoying it and see more the learning as the process. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to go there and let myself get smoked again by this like 50-year-old hip hop dance teacher lady. Like,
Oh my gosh, that's yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you about. Is just going on about the dancing. You said this is a core part of your practice now.
yeah, actually, when I'm reflecting on it, yes, it took me a while to realize, but like the main one of the main things I was doing in the last year was dancing. Like,
Hmm.
there's the dancing, there's the nature parkour stuff, and the game stuff, but like with the game stuff, it's often like just possible with other people or in bigger
Yeah.
groups. There's the strength training, which I do. There's the running, which I'm not doing at the moment, but which I did. And then there's the roughhousing, the play fighting. But like the play fighting itself doesn't has a. And then there's the relaxing. I would say like the relaxing is also a big part of my of my ecosystem, which
Yeah.
is doing really well. But like I'm dancing 3 to 4 times a week. Like
Wow. Yeah.
and
What?
that really changed my body and my relationships and how I see the world. That was really something I that felt like I need to nurture now. Like it was really this intuition, like, okay, it's good to nurture those plants now.
That's so cool, Simon, because uh previously this would have been like what you're describing would be exactly my worst fear. Having to go, being forced at gunpoint to go to a hip hop dance class. Just because I was locked up. You know what I mean? The at certain I guess I couldn't I took myself too seriously.
Mhm.
Um so how did that shift happen for you?
Yeah, I think on the one hand, like for sure I got more competent and like that makes it easier too.
Yes, yeah.
But like so over time, but in the beginning it was always this I go there and remind myself why I go there. Like not to look cool or anything, but like to learn something new. And when you learn something new, you will always be a fool in the beginning. So like that's pretty normal process. And I asked myself like it also started with like going to a swing dance class, like
Oh
Lindy
wow.
Hop. Like I did last year, partner dance. I just broke up with my long-term relationship, and I was like, but I really would love to learn dancing. But like I have never really learned partner dance. But like
Hmm.
um, sometimes I see life as this kind of like those game eyes, like kind of
Yep.
life is an open world game. And like, okay, I really want to level that skill or unlock that skill, and I want to be the guy who can show up to a party and like go on the dance floor.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, this that's cool, Simon. That's
And
cool.
it's really fascinating because you are like I would say like your main practice is like the roughhousing or like the jiu-jitsu or
Yeah. Yeah, main practice roughhousing jujitsu. You know what though is like me okay, interestingly enough, the reason why I went to the boxing gym first time is because of my wife. And the reason I went to the grappling gym is because of my wife. Like she was like, "Let's go try this." I was like, we don't need to try this, Heather. We really, really, I'm good. I'm good. I know what these people are like, you know. Uh Daggone it, she literally changed my life with those suggestions. But I did notice with the boxing specifically, jumping the rope, people shadow boxing, even shadow boxing the first time, just moving around, moving your head. Uh all that, if you're not used to like moving solo, you feel so stupid. You feel
Mhm.
like we did run into this really good coach at a the boxing gym in Portsmouth. His name's people call him Uza, but his name's Tuan. And Tuan would always say like that ring up there, that's a stage. And if you're not comfortable putting yourself on display, you're not going to do well. Like you have to kind of be willing to dance in front of people. You know, I just had never made correlations like that before. There's this old guy named Steve, and I was like, Steve, what's like the main combos on the bag? Like what he's like, hey, you ever put on music and dance? I'm like, no, seriously, Steve, shit. Like what would you start with? He's like, you ever just put on music and dance? So that was like that's such an interesting correlation, isn't it? You wouldn't think of that at all at a place you would go to learn to fight. They're like, "Hey, get some confidence in yourself. Can you uh are you able to, I guess, assert yourself or even show who you are on just like a base on a fundamental level, and to think that would give you confidence or something
On a
more.
raw, naked human level. Like
Yeah,
the same if as if you're like in the ring or like on the dance stage.
yeah.
Like something, do you also like can relate to the experience, like either if you watch somebody fight or dance, or if you are being watched and witnessed, there's something like really meaningful and real about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I wonder if previously at other maybe in other parts of history these things would have just been naturally integrated.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the light bulb goes off. So when the light bulb goes off of dancing or fighting or what grappling, rough, any amount of it with the kids that I work with or with um I didn't go to I didn't stick around maybe a part of me was just like, okay, I just need to know if I can take it. I need to know if I can take winning and losing, getting
Mm.
choked out, getting hit, whatever it is. I just need to know if I can take it. But then there's this other part that is like it's incredibly healing. You know what I mean? It's incredibly like it's not a violent thing. It's like, oh, I'm okay. I can take it. I this is what humans do. This has much less to do with me than like this is just what people have always done and we need to do this, you know?
Mhm.
Um
Yeah, they're like there. I would love to dive deeper with you at another moment,
yes.
like at another time, because this topic is, I think, so rich for a call itself,
Yeah.
like what roughhousing and fighting can do to you,
Oh my
like
gosh. Yeah.
in a positive sense. Like this is like really life-changing. Like, and I think we as a society, like with all those things like dancing, roughhousing, music, we we started to outsource it to kind of like stars or rock stars, kind of like
Huh.
gladiators, and they do it for us and we watch it.
I
But
never
we
thought about
somehow
that before.
forgot like that it's and for like cultures before like the agrarian revolution, I would say, or like the industrialization or later, like back then they realized that the power of the practice is in practicing and not in the outcome. Like the power of singing is in the singing, not in having a nice song. The power in dancing is in dancing and not having a super nice performance.
Oh
And
wow.
like then we somehow started to gatekeep each other from those practices and started to believe that we kind of have to be professional to do those like really human things like doing art, doing music, doing dance, doing roughhousing.
Uh-huh.
But like if I think if we remember that though the power of the practice is in practicing, like and we do it and there's no need to be gatekeep it, like then I think things become easier from there.
Yeah, that is a really rich topic. Holy cow. I hadn't thought about it, Simon, in terms of yeah, outsourcing or
Mhm.
maybe some industrial connection or whatever. Who knows what convoluted amount of variables came together for us to like arrive at that point. But that is why the light bulb goes off. Is I'm sure the same would happen with hunting or
Mhm.
with uh I don't know, so just sort of things that just like, huh, that the remembering thing. I feel like this is what we should do, you know, or gardening or whatever it is. But
Do you follow like Martin, this guy called Bear Paw Practice on Instagram or Substack or so?
no, I'll have to check them out. Martin, what?
I sent you a text of him.
Okay,
Like
okay,
he was like for the second time now the co-teacher at the last Sachenmachen retreat. Kind of
okay,
like m- my interpretation of the EMP. Or like I got the inspiration there and then made it my own. But like
yeah,
Martin came the second time as a co-teacher. And there he wrote about, and we focused on co-regulation this time. And we played like some, like we always have like dancing, roughhousing, body integrity, qigong, sistema, martial arts, all kind of stuff in there. And yeah, he wrote about like those really deep human experiences, which also happen pre-verbal. Like we can talk about it, but it's something really different if you can experience it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I sent you a text of him because I he put it into words what I couldn't put into words, and it's really beautiful written.
Awesome, man. Sounds good. I know you have to go soon. Is there something that you had in mind to wrap up what we were just discussing today with the effectiveness of
Yes,
our ecology?
I would have I prepared a question for the wrap up, and I got 20 other topics I would love to talk with you.
We'll do more, Simon. This has been
Mhm.
I've found a like mind.
Yeah, yeah, just to mention one or two, I wrote down the question and like what is the role of ritual and worldview inside an ecosystem, or like the ancient
Wow.
arena relationship, the dancing, the roughhousing, blah blah. But I got the questions. Wait, um, yeah, I would love to maybe close it with what advice would you give someone starting to begin cultivating an ecosystem of practices?
Oh God.
Easy one.
Yeah. Hmm. What tipped it off for me? I'm trying to think of what made me think it was possible. Well, maybe this would be too obvious or too cliche or something, but like just kind of going to studying under people that are doing it, do it like with Rafe, for instance, like he get what Rafe was doing just became so inherently interesting to me that I just couldn't stay away from it. I was like, already needed a shift, uh, needed new ways to connect in my life, and I just kind of like am a magnet for it. So maybe finding people that are doing it, and that it might take a couple tries. In my case. This is coming to mind. This isn't the exact same thing, but it's about change. One person was like, I heard someone joke, how'd you get sober? Well, I tried for 8 years. There's some there's some like I'd gone to a couple different gyms before I went to the one I'm at now, and we were doing different exercise. And it's like the seeds were kind of bouncing off the ground. Like what I wanted to do maybe wasn't properly afforded by the environment. The soil wasn't right. And yeah, I remember just doing some stuff at a local gym around here that we were even doing a little bit of rough housing stuff, but we were primarily doing CrossFit style workouts or different kinds of weightlifting workouts. And I remember telling them that, guys, I don't know if this is what I want to do. And I couldn't be the guy was even paying me to show up 3 days a week, just a little bit to get a program going with them. But I remember feeling like I was bailing on them and that I kept feeling, but I had this feeling in the back of my mind. I don't know. I don't know if this is, I liked those guys, but I don't know if this is like the right environment for the things that I want to do. I think we probably need a mat and like, it's not really weightlifting is in my interest, even though I know about it. I'm fairly good at it. So it took a couple tries. And then it took like doing 200 classes of the morning class at to figure out what exactly the first thing people should know when they're grappling, what's the first 8 classes or the first month of classes, things like that. And I wrote it all down and started to see recurring patterns and borrowed other people's patterns, and that's what came of it. But it's going to take the right environment. It's going to take the right people and time. You know,
Mhm.
I guess maybe
Yeah.
just the willingness to try it.
Mhm.
What about you, Simon? What about
I
you?
would. Yeah, I would say also like in the beginning you need to, yeah, it's good to have people around you who are so radiant and contagious that it kind of like transmissions to you.
Yeah,
That helps definitely. The right environment. I totally go with that. And I would add that you need to trust first before you see the result. There kind of like has to be this trust of like, okay, I'm going to dedicate to this practice now.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm curious who I will be on the other side. That and like don't like you will be a fool in the beginning and that's okay.
yeah, yeah. That's good, man. I totally agree. I something come to mind when you were talking about trusting the result. Oh, that interesting people are interested first, like uh that Alan Watts quote, interesting people are interested. If you are like if something
Yeah.
is just you're pulled to something like a magnet, hey, try this with me. You're telling your friends, try this with me. It's not even a
Mhm.
business plan necessarily. Um it's a mission. You want to you hey, let's learn to grapple. Let's learn whatever it is. But yeah, you got to be interested in it first. It can't be just some like harebrained scheme of how you're gonna like become great at something, or you have to actually genuinely like it. So
Love it, man. Man, I need to hop off and catch my bus. I text you how we go on from there on Instagram.
that sounds great. Simon, I appreciate your time, Bobby. This was fun.